Hi everybody, I'm Rob from robandphoto.com, and in today's review I'm going to be looking at this little gadget here. This is the U8 smartwatch, which has been out for quite a while now, and all throughout this video, when you're kind of seeing the phone in action, what it looks like and stuff, I just want you to remember that it only costs about £25 or around about 35 US dollars, because if you see my videos, you know, I'm quite lucky in the fact that every now and then somebody will send me something to look at for free, and this is one such thing. As I say, it's the U8 smartwatch, which is available, you know, in lots of places. This one came from dhgate.com, and I'll put a link in the show notes down below. And I've got to say, really, to be honest, before I've started playing with this watch, I was quite sceptical about the idea of wearables, you know, about having a watch that could tell you something else apart from the time and the date, and maybe being a calculator. But after wearing this watch and using it for a good couple of weeks, I've got to say I'm a bit of a convert, actually. And I kind of think that if you're a little bit unsure about something like maybe even like an Apple Watch or the more expensive sort of Google, the Android smartwear and all that sort of stuff, maybe you want to try something like this first. Give it a go, see how you get on, and then move on from there. Because I think probably over the next few years, as this technology kind of develops, I think we're probably all going to be wearing things like this. And also, you know, I want to say the fact that you don't have to spend the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds on something like an Apple Watch or the Android ones. You know, the U8 will get you in at the shallow end of smartwatches and kind of get you hooked. And it is something that is pretty useful. As I said, it only costs about £25 or $35. So for a couple of weeks worth of Starbucks or Costas, you know, you can have a little smartwatch. And one of the things that's really great about the U8 is the fact that the battery lasts for quite a long time. I think I've probably had four days out of it. So you don't really have to worry about it. But I guess, you know, what does this phone do? What do you get for your money? Well, obviously it tells you I don't know how well you'll see this. Don't worry, in a little bit in the video we're going to have a closer look. You've got the time and the date pop up on the screen. And you may think, well, big deal. Yeah, but how many times a day? Say when, you know, like me, when you're at work or you're out and about walking around, say you're a photographer and you want to know the time, you get your expensive phone out, don't you? And that gives you a chance that you might drop it. It's a bit rude, isn't it, to get your phone out and look at things? But people don't mind you looking at your watch to tell the time. After, you know, socially, that's what we've been kind of used to. The phone has a pedometer on it, so it can measure how far you've been walking. It has a barometer on it, which also tells you, tells you pressure, temperature, and it has an altimeter on it as well, so you can tell how high or low you go. And again, I don't know how accurate these things are going to be in a £25 smartwatch, and I'm not going to, you know, test them for super accuracy. You know, you can reset the altimeter so that gets that right. It's got a very simple sleep monitor as well, and I guess what it's doing then, it's sensing how much you're tossing and turning during the night. I've used that a couple of times. It says I sleep very well. Yeah, great. It has an interesting anti-lost feature where if the phone, if the watch moves far away from your phone, it starts to bleep, so that's good. It has a calendar on there, a very simple calendar where you can just check dates. You know, it doesn't talk to your phone and do it that way. It has an alarm, as you'd expect. You can have multiple different alarms. It has a calculator on there, again, the sort of thing you'd expect. It has a stopwatch, again, which is good. And as I've already said, the battery life is pretty special as well, because the battery it has on it is a 230 milliamp hour polymer lithium battery, which is good, which is meant to give you about 160 hours worth of standby time and 3 hours of talk time. Not that you'd probably want to talk like this for 3 hours. But what's special about it is it can link to your phone via Bluetooth. If you've got like an Android phone and you download an app which you put on your phone, and then when you turn the Bluetooth on and you link them up, the phone can then talk to the watch and kind of vice versa. And then what you can do then, once they're linked up, the first thing you can do is you can make and receive calls. So just like, think of it as a bit like a Bluetooth earpiece. You know, that's a slightly more complicated one of those. So when your phone rings, instead of your phone ringing, the watch rings, you can answer the call on your watch, and then you can talk. It's got a mic in it and it's got a speaker, and you take the call. Now you don't have to do this. You can. It's got quite a good mic, so you can, if you were you don't want to be answering the phone when you're driving, but you can sort of talk to it sort of like that, which is really good. And you can make calls as well. It's not quite as simple. You've got a dialer on there, and it can look into your phone book. But if your phone book's anything like my phone book with hundreds of entries, that can be a little bit tricky. So that's really good. You can do the sort of things you would normally do with a Bluetooth headset as well. So you can play music through your watch as well. So if you start playing some music on the phone, it will come up here, and you can skip through music on the phone on the watch as well. You can control your phone's camera through the watch as well. So when you turn your phone on and the camera app on, you can use this to trigger the shutter to take a photo, which is pretty cool and good for remote. If you've got put your phone up on a wall somewhere to take a selfie or like a family group shot or something, you can then trigger it with your watch, which is pretty cool. And probably the best thing for me, and the reason why you want something like this, is notifications. So when you get like a text message or a WhatsApp or an email, what happens is the phone via the app then sends a notification to the phone. So on the phone screen, you get a little icon saying you've had a notification, and then you go into the program, which is called BT Notice, Bluetooth Notice, and it'll tell you. Now, depending on the app that you've got the notification from, you'll get different levels of details. So if it's like a WhatsApp, you get the message of the WhatsApp. If it's a Gmail, sometimes you get the subject line, I think. If it's a text message, you get all of it. And so you wouldn't want to really try and reply on the phone. That would be a little bit too difficult. Well, you can't, but you can look and see what notifications you've got, and then you think, oh, right, yeah, they're not important, I can leave them. Or if it's something that's important that's come in, you can then get your phone out and then reply to it and look at it like that way. And I think that's really powerful because it stops. Think how many times an hour you'll flip out your phone to look at something, and then you start getting sidetracked with stuff that you probably don't need to be doing, because you end up doing other stuff, don't you? You end up checking the internet, your feeds and all that sort of stuff. But the fact that you can quickly turn your phone on, have a look at the screen, see, I've got a notification, let's see what it is. Oh, it's a WhatsApp from the missus telling me to get some milk on the way home. Right, fantastic. I don't need to reply to it right now. I didn't need to get my phone out, and it's there. So that's what I really like about the phone, the notifications and the battery life. But that's enough of me talking to the camera. Why don't we turn it around and so you can have a better look at the watch itself. Alright, so let's have a closer look at the U8 smartphone. As you can see, the body isn't too thick, and then we've got this rubber wrist strap, all nice and soft and fairly comfortable to use. We've got our wake button, if you like, on the right side. Press that to kind of turn the screen on and off. And then on this side, we've got our speaker cum microphone. And then underneath this little flap, we've got a little micro USB charging port. So as you can see, we can see the time, the date, the battery status is just up here. Bluetooth, whether we're connected or not. And then what we can do is we can press these buttons on the front to initiate or break a connection. We press the back button. We could go straight to the pedometer. In fact, let me just check the focus, because this is always tricky to record things like this on my DSLR because the autofocus isn't that good. And then on the right hand side, we've then got our sleep monitor. Let's go back to the home button. However, if we press the menu button just down here, we can go into all the other features. So we've got Bluetooth, we've got our dialer, so we can dial phones. We've got our phone book, and again, this loads this from your phone, and then we've got messages. So again, we can have a look at our text messages, and then if we swipe over to the side, calls received, Bluetooth music. So again, we could, I don't know if this will work. Oh, there we go. I was listening to Rhett and Link on my phone, so it knows that and it starts to play that. We've got our camera. I don't think I can, yeah, the camera's not on, so it won't launch that. But I'll tell you what, let me reach over and turn my phone on, unlock it to see if we can quickly access the camera. There we go. Oh, actually, there's no good. It's on its side. Let's see, can you see anything? And so there we go. That's what my phone is seeing. And so I could then trigger that. I mean, that is pretty useful in and of itself, isn't it? Just as a remote shutter. And then what else have we got? We've got our settings, our power save menu, anti-loss, our tools. So in here we've got a very simple calendar where we can look at dates. We've got an alarm, lots of different alarms we can set, calculator, stopwatch, all very useful stuff. And then if we just actually, we're just going to the settings. I'll just show you, say, the different type of clock we could use. We could have an analog clock, like that. Or if we go into the settings again, we could have an analog clock like that. I would like to see something like an analog clock, the first one, with the date on it or something. But for now, I'm going to stick with the digital clock, like that. So let's go back to there. And then the bit where I think all the excitement is your BT notice icon there. So when you press that, this is where your notifications appear when you've received emails, text messages. Well, text messages come in the other bit, WhatsApps and things like that. And that is what is incredibly useful. So as you can see, it's probably not the prettiest phone in the world, but it's highly functional and it does have an awful lot of features. And if you like the look of it, this will be the phone that you buy and think, I like wearables, and it will probably lead you on to, after you've been using this one for a few months, buying the more expensive fully featured models. But for the price, you know, having something like this on the wrist where you can check your notifications, you can receive calls, you know, it's amazing, isn't it? This sort of technology a few years ago, we would have said it wasn't possible. So let's now have a think about a conclusion. Okay, so the U8 smartphone isn't the best smartphone on the market. It's not the prettiest, it's not the most powerful, it's not the most comfortable to wear, and, you know, it's definitely not the best featured. But what it is great value for money. And actually, it is pretty useful as well. And it's quite, you know, it's quite a bit of fun to use. And I think it's a great way into the world of smartphones. And trust me, kind of as I said at the beginning of the video, once you try this sort of device and you start getting your notifications through onto your wrist, so you don't have to keep whipping out this big bulky thing, you really will be hooked. Now, as I said as well, I was sent my copy from the great folks over at dhgates.com, so make sure you check that out. We can get lots of different amazing bargains on technology. And I guess kind of to summarise, I think, you know, the UA is probably going to be the first smartwatch you buy, but it won't be the last. And I think it's definitely the gateway gadget into smartphone addiction. That's enough from me. My name's Rob from robfrontphoto.com. If you've enjoyed the video, please like it, please subscribe. If you've got any questions, put them down in the comments down below, or you can email me, scalespeed@gmail.com, and I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe. See you again soon.